Hello everyone. In my previous video, we studied the basics of German modal verbs, what they are and how they work in simple sentences. In this video, we are going to take it to the next level. We will explore how modal verbs behave in complex sentences, how they shift in meaning, and common mistakes that advanced learners often make. By the end of this video, you will feel much more confident using these important verbs in everyday German. Before we dive into German, let's quickly understand what modal verbs are in English because the idea is similar. In English, modal verbs like can, must, may, should, and want are used together with a main verb in the infinitive form. They express ability, permission, obligation, desire, or possibility. For example, if you are free, you can come with us. Here, can shows possibility or ability. The key structure is modal verb plus main verb without to. In German, it works the same way, but the word order is stricter. The modal goes in position 2 and the main verb stays at the very end in the infinitive form. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs. They modify or add extra meaning to the main action. Here is a clear overview of the six main German modal verbs. Let's go through them one by one. Können means can or to be able to and is used for ability or possibility. Müssen means must or to have to and shows strong obligation or necessity. Dürfen means may or to be allowed to and expresses permission or prohibition when negative. Sollen means should or supposed to and is used for advice, instructions or moral duty. Wollen means to want and shows strong intention or desire. Möchten is a polite form meaning would like and is used for polite requests or wishes. Remember that all of them are irregular and often change vowels in the singular forms. This table will be your quick reference throughout the lesson. All modal verbs in German are irregular. This means their conjugation does not follow the normal rules, and many of them have stem vowel changes in the present tense. For example, können changes from O to A, kann. Müssen changes U umlaut to U, muss. Dürfen changes U umlaut to A, darf. Wollen changes O to I, will. And möchten is a special polite form of morgen. Sollen is a bit different. It drops endings in the ish and rgs forms but keeps the same vowel. The singular forms ish, du, rgs are the most irregular and often have zero endings. The plural forms wir, ihr, sie are usually regular and look like the infinitive. Always check the conjugation tables carefully because these irregular forms are the biggest source of mistakes for learners. Let's look at the first modal verb in detail, dürfen. Dürfen means may or to be allowed to. It is used to express permission. When you use it in a question, it sounds very polite, like may I help you? Here is the full present tense conjugation. Ich darf, du darfst, es darf, wir dürfen, ihr dürft, sie dürfen. Look at the examples. Sie dürfen hier rauchen means you are allowed to smoke here. Dürfen wir Ihnen helfen, which means may I help you or may we help you. Du darfst das nicht tun. It means you are not allowed to do that. Ich darf das machen. It means I am allowed to do that. Notice that in the ish, er, and z forms there is no ending. It is simply darf. Practice these forms because dürfen is very common when asking for or giving permission. Next is können, one of the most useful modal verbs. Können means can or to be able to. It expresses ability and possibility. The conjugation is Ich kann, du kannst, sie kann, wir können, ihr könnt, and sie können. Look at these example sentences. Ich kann Deutsch sprechen, which means I can speak German. Kannst du mir helfen? It means can you help me? Kann sehr gut Tango tanzen, or simply kann sehr gut tanzen. It means he can dance very well. Wir können morgen gehen. It means we can go tomorrow. The key is to remember the vowel change in the singular, that is can or canst, and that the main verb always stays in the infinitive at the end. Können is perfect when talking about skills or what is possible. Now let's study müssen. Müssen means must or to have to. It expresses strong obligation or necessity, something that is required. The conjugation ich muss, du musst, sie muss, wir müssen, ihr müsst, sie müssen. Let's look at these example sentences. Ich muss arbeiten. Ich muss arbeiten, which means I have to work. Wir müssen früh aufstehen. Wir müssen früh aufstehen, which means we must wake up early. Muss am Wochenende arbeiten. Muss am Wochenende arbeiten. It means he must work at the weekend. Du musst heute lernen. Du musst heute lernen, which means you must study today. Notice again the irregular singular forms with no endings on muss. Müssen is the strongest modal. It leaves almost no choice. Use it when something is really necessary or mandatory. Sollen means should or supposed to. It is used for advice, instructions, moral duty, or reported speech. The conjugation forms are ich soll, du sollst, sie soll, wir sollen, ihr sollt, sie sollen. Here are some example sentences. First example, du sollst mehr lernen, which means you should study more. Soll krank sein, which means he is said to be sick, or people say that he is sick. Sie sollen mehr Sport treiben, which means you should do more sport. Soll ich jetzt Sport treiben? It means should I do more sport now? Muss auf Geschäftsreise fahren. Geschäftsreise means business trip. He has to go on a business trip. Sollen is softer than müssen. It gives a recommendation rather than a strict order. It is also very common in indirect speech. Wollen means to want. It expresses strong intention or desire. The conjugation forms are ich will, du willst, sie es will, wir wollen, ihr wollt, sie wollen. Here are the example sentences. Ich will ein Auto kaufen, which means I want to buy a car. Was willst du machen? It means what do you want to do? Ich will nach New York fliegen. It means I want to fly to New York. Sie will ein Eis essen. It means she wants to eat an ice cream. Wollen is very direct and strong. Remember, it cannot replace the future tense with will like in English. For future, you need werden. Möchten is a very polite modal meaning would like. It is actually a special form of mögen but is used independently as a modal verb for polite requests and wishes. The conjugation forms are ich möchte, du möchtest, sie es möchte, wir möchten, ihr möchtet, sie möchten. The example sentences are Ich möchte einen Kaffee, which means I would like a coffee. Möchtest du mitkommen, which means would you like to come along? Ich möchte hier ins Kino gehen, which means I would like to go to the cinema here. This here means here. Möchten Sie etwas essen? It means would you like to eat something? In the past forms, möchten often becomes wollte. Möchten is the polite version of wollen. Always use it when you want to sound courteous. Let's look at the sentence structure with modal verbs in more detail. The golden rule is the modal verb is always in position 2 and the main verb is in infinitive form at the very end of the sentence. For a normal statement, ich kann Deutsch lernen or muss arbeiten gehen. For yes-no questions, the modal moves to position 1. Kannst du Deutsch lernen? Or musst du heute arbeiten? Or darf hier parken? For negation, we put nicht before the main verb or the verb cluster. For example, ich kann das nicht machen. Or du darfst hier nicht rauchen. Or will das nicht tun. This clear pattern works for almost every sentence. Keep the modal in position 2 and the infinitive at the end, and your German will sound natural and correct. When we use a modal verb with another verb, there is a very clear core principle. Just like in English, modals are normally used together with another verb. But in German, the word order is special. The modal verb takes position 2 in the sentence, and the main verb goes to the very end in its infinitive form. There is no zu needed. The full structure is subject plus modal verb plus any other information plus the main verb in infinitive form. Examples: kann sehr gut Tango tanzen. Sie sollen mehr Sport treiben. Ich möchte hier ins Kino gehen. Muss auf Geschäftsreise fahren. Both verbs work together to give the full meaning. This golden structure is the most important thing to remember when speaking German with modals. Here is the complete conjugation table for all modal verbs in the present tense. This is your master reference. For dürfen, ich darf, du darfst, sie darf, wir dürfen, ihr dürft, sie dürfen. For können, ich kann, du kannst, sie kann, wir können, ihr könnt, sie können. For müssen, ich muss, du musst, sie muss, wir müssen, ihr müsst, sie müssen. For sollen, ich soll, du sollst, sie soll, wir sollen, ihr sollt, sie sollen. For wollen, ich will, du willst, sie will, wir wollen, ihr wollt, sie wollen. And finally, for möchten, ich möchte, du möchtest, sie möchte, wir möchten, ihr möchtet, sie möchten. Notice the irregular patterns. Many singular forms have vowel changes and drop endings. Print or save this table because you will use it again and again. Here are some important grammar rules to remember. First, the double verb structure. When a modal is used, the second or the main verb must stay in infinitive form at the end of the sentence. For example, ich will Deutsch lernen. Second, never use zu with modal verbs. The wrong sentence would be Ich will zu lernen and the correct sentence will be Ich will lernen. Third, for the past tense or the preterium, we use special forms konnte, musste, durfte, sollte, wollte and möchte or wollte. wollte for möchten. The key points to remember. The modal verb is always in position 2. The main verb is infinitive at the end. Negation, nicht, goes before the verb cluster, and in questions, the auxiliary or the modal verb moves to position 1. These notes will help you avoid the most common errors. Let's look at the common mistakes. This is very important. Many students make these errors. The first example, Ich kann spiele is wrong because the verb is in the wrong form. The correct sentence would be Ich kann spielen. Ich möchte zu essen is wrong because zu is not needed with modal verbs. The correct sentence would be Ich möchte essen. Du musst gehst is wrong because the verb is in the wrong form. The correct sentence would be Du musst gehen. Wir wollen gehen zu is again wrong because zu is in the wrong position and it is not needed at all. The correct sentence would be Wir wollen gehen. Darfst hier parken is wrong because here we have the wrong conjugation for dürfen. The correct sentence would be darf hier parken. Sie kann nicht kommt is wrong because the verb is in the wrong form. The correct sentence would be Sie kann nicht kommen. The golden rule is always modal verb plus infinitive with no conjugation on the main verb. Always use the infinitive form for the second verb. Here is a quick comparison of the strength and purpose of each modal verb. This helps you choose the right one for the meaning you want. Müssen is the strongest. It means necessity or strong obligation. I must work, no choice. Sollen is medium strength for advice or moral duty. For example, you should study. Wollen is strong desire or intention. For example, I want to buy. Möchten is polite and gentle. For example, I would like coffee. Dürfen is about permission or prohibition. For example, you may park here. Können is for ability or possibility. For example, I can speak German. This hierarchy is very useful when deciding which modal best matches what you want to say in real conversations. Now let's practice with real life example sentences. These sentences show how modal verbs are used in everyday situations. First example, Ich muss heute viel arbeiten, which means I have to work a lot today. Second example is Wir können morgen gehen, which means we can go tomorrow. Soll seine Hausaufgaben machen, which means he should do his homework. Du darfst hier nicht rauchen, which means you are not allowed to smoke here. Ich möchte etwas essen, which means I would like to eat something. Sie will nach Deutschland reisen, which means she wants to travel to Germany. Notice that the modal verb is highlighted in each sentence. These practical examples will help you remember how to use modals naturally in speaking and writing. Let's do first exercise together. Fill in the blanks. Here is the word bank. Können, müssen, dürfen, sollen, wollen, möchten. The sentences are Ich blank Deutsch lernen. Du blank hier nicht rauchen. Wir blank heute viel arbeiten. Blank ein neues Handy kaufen. Blank du mir helfen. Ich blank einen Kaffee trinken. Use the hints on the right to help you choose. This exercise trains you to select the correct modal according to the context and meaning. And here are the answers. First sentence. Ich möchte Deutsch lernen. Here we have a polite desire or will. Second one, du darfst hier nicht rauchen. Here we have a prohibition with dürfen. Wir müssen heute viel arbeiten. It's a strong necessity. Er will ein neues Handy kaufen. Here we have a strong intention. Kannst du mir helfen? Here is a polite request for ability. Ich möchte einen Kaffee trinken. It's a polite desire. Context always helps you decide which modal is best. Now second exercise, wrong right corrections. We will fix 5 common mistakes. The first example, the wrong verb form. Ich kann spiele. The correct answer would be Ich kann spielen. The second example, Ich möchte zu essen is wrong and the correct answer would be Ich möchte essen. We never use zu with modal verbs. Third example, Du musst gehst is wrong and the correct sentence would be Du musst gehen. Fourth example, Wir wollen gehen zu is wrong and the correct statement would be Wir wollen gehen. Again, we never use zu with modal verbs. Fifth example, Er darfst hier parken is wrong and the correct sentence would be Er darf hier parken. The main rule is always modal verb in position 2 plus main verb in infinitive at the end. No extra conjugation or su on the second verb. Here we have the third exercise, the sentence formation. You are given word sets and must make correct German sentences with modal verbs. The first example, Ich können schwimmen. The correct sentence would be Ich kann schwimmen. Second example, Du müssen lernen. The correct sentence would be Du musst lernen. Third example, Wir wollen reisen. The correct sentence would be Wir wollen reisen. Fourth example, dürfen gehen. The correct sentence would be darf gehen. Fifth example, Ich möchten Pizza essen. The correct sentence would be Ich möchte Pizza essen. Check your answers on the right side. This exercise helps you practice the golden syntax rule, modal in position 2 and the main verb infinitive at the end. Now we come to the fourth exercise, the translation into German. Translate these English sentences. First example, I can speak German. Ich kann Deutsch sprechen. Second example, you must study today. Du musst heute lernen. Third example, we want to go home. Wir wollen nach Hause gehen. Fourth example, he is allowed to come. Darf kommen. Fifth example, I would like to drink tea. Ich möchte Tee trinken. This exercise combines meaning, choice of modal, and grammar structure. It is an excellent practice for real conversation and writing. Here is another mini quiz. Choose the correct answer for each sentence. Ich blank heute arbeiten. And the correct answer is muss. Second example, du blank hier nicht parken. And the answer would be darfst. Third example, ich blank einen Kaffee. And the answer would be möchte. Fourth example, wir blank morgen reisen. And the answer would be wollen. Fifth example, blank Deutsch sprechen. And the answer would be kann. Now we move to the perfect tense with modal verbs. Why is it tricky? Normally in German perfect we use haben or sein plus past participle, that is the ge form. Example: Ich habe gegessen. But when a modal verb is involved, the structure completely changes. You do not use the past participle of the modal, no gekonnt, no gemusst. Instead, you use the double infinitive or the ersatz infinitive. The golden rule is, when a modal plus another verb is used in perfect, you do not use the ge form of the modal. You use the main verb infinitive plus modal infinitive at the end, and always with haben. This is the biggest difference from normal perfect. Let's look at the perfect structure and double infinitive in detail. The structure is subject plus haben plus main verb in the infinitive plus modal verb in infinitive. Some examples: Ich habe Deutsch lernen können, which means I was able to learn German. Hat das machen müssen, which means he had to do that. Wir haben früh aufstehen müssen, which means we had to get up early. Compare with normal perfect. For example, ich habe gespielt. With modal, ich habe spielen können. The key point is no ge form for the modal verb in perfect. Always use the double infinitive at the end. This ersatz infinitive is unique to modal verbs and a few other verbs. Here is the complete overview of all modal verbs in the perfect tense. Können. Ich habe das machen können. Dürfen. Ich habe hier parken dürfen. Wollen. Ich habe das machen wollen. Müssen. Ich habe das machen müssen. Sollen. Ich habe das machen sollen. Möchten. Ich habe das machen wollen. It uses wollen in past. The word order breakdown is important. Subject plus haben plus time or extra information plus main verb infinitive plus modal infinitive at the very end. Always use haben and never sein with modals in perfect. This table shows you exactly how to form the past with every modal. Now let's understand when the modal is used alone versus with the double infinitive. When the modal is alone, which means there is no second verb, use the normal past participle. For example, ich habe das nicht gekonnt, which means I was not able to do that. Or hat das nicht gewollt. But when there is a second verb, you must use the double infinitive rule, which means main verb infinitive plus modal infinitive at the end. For negation in perfect, ich habe das nicht machen können. For questions, hast du das machen können or haben sie kommen dürfen? The rule is clear. If there is another verb, use the ersatz infinitive, which means the double infinitive. This distinction is crucial for correct perfect with modals. This table covers common mistakes, spoken versus written German, and some advanced tips. The common mistakes include using the GE form wrongly. For example, ich habe gekonnt spielen should be ich habe spielen können. Some people say ich habe das machen gemusst in casual speech, but the standard written and exam form is ich habe das machen müssen. Spoken versus written. In fast conversation, you might hear the ge form, but in formal German or exams, you must use the double infinitive. Here is an advanced C1 level tip. With three verbs, the whole cluster stays at the end. For example, ich habe das Buch lesen wollen. Here is a super shortcut. In perfect with modals, never use the ge form, always use infinitives. These tips will help you sound natural yet correct. Finally, Here is the checklist to review your understanding. What are the irregular patterns? Singular forms often have vowel changes and drop endings. Where is the main verb? At the end of the sentence in infinitive form, modal is in position 2. How do you use mochten? For polite requests and wishes. It is a form of mogen. How do you translate sollen? Should or supposed to for advice or reported speech. How do you translate must not? Nicht dürfen for prohibition or nicht müssen for don't have to. Here is the key takeaway. Always remember modal verb in position 2 and main verb at the end in infinitive form. If you can answer these 5 questions confidently, you have mastered the German modal verbs. Great work!